Hello, you beautiful people. I do believe the helicopters have gone away. I don't hear them anymore, so hopefully we won't get any interruptions. Gotta make sure I can see everybody's chat. I do believe everything is good. Oh no. Let's see. All messages in the chat. Gotta be able to see everybody. Hello, Brett. Welcome, welcome. I totally just put the wrong end of my paintbrush in my water. I need to get started on this tree. I think I want to do one more color of lowlights in the leaves. And then I can move on to the mid-tones. But I need to start introducing this green. I think I have that right here. That way I can get the greens to play nicely with each other. Oh, and you know what I'm forgetting to turn on? Background music. I think this is going to be dark enough. Might be bordering a mid-tone, but that's okay. Trying to get warmed up a little bit. It's a little lighter, but I don't think it's quite a mid-tone. Hello, Jacob Bear. Welcome, welcome. Working on this tree. Got a bunch of different greens I need to get added into this. make it look alive. And I think the music might be a little too loud. There we go. Sorry, I don't seem so super talkative right now. I'm trying to like listen for these helicopters to see if they come back. They're circling around for a while. No idea what they were looking for. Kind of curious if it was a chase or something. Just being nosy. Oh, nice. I gotta get some work done after this live. But I did want to get some work done on this painting too. I also got to get prepared for my next couple commissions. Got a couple more high detail works planned out. Really excited about one of the commissions coming up because it's a Pokemon painting. And I do enjoy making the Pokemon paintings. Especially with how much creative liberty I'm being given for this painting. I really get to just go with the flow on it. And I've been playing a lot of Legends ZA, the newest Pokemon game, which takes place in France. Well, not France, just France, but like the Paris equivalent of the Pokemon world. So it's heavily based off of France. And there's cafes everywhere. It's kind of giving me some ideas. But I think I'm also going to kind of like mix it with what is it, Pokemon Cafe? Another game. So it is going to be a cafe setting. But I think I'm going to leave the people out and just keep the Pokemon. And take some heavy inspiration from Paris, France. I actually think this will be my first Pokemon City scene. I've done like abandoned places, but I haven't done like lively cities in any of my Pokemon paintings. Be fun to work on some like man-made backdrops and landscapes. I think I did a pretty good job of keeping this low light. How's it going, Rory? Happy to see that you popped in. Kind of getting a little lost in these leaves, planning them out, trying to vision like where the light's gonna be hitting the most on this tree. So figuring out which leaves are still gonna kind of like be more visible than the others. We have a storm rolling in. We're probably gonna be getting snow. I imagine people at least know how to navigate in the snow a little bit better up near you than they do out by me. Actually, worked quite well. Like it really helped clear up my hands. So yeah, the Vaseline did help. Hands feel very soft. And no more chapped skin. Yes, he did. What can I say? I get stuck in my ways sometimes. Stuck with the lotion I knew. That's right. This one's going to be in front. I actually just saw Eric off. He's got an exam for a certification he's taking for work. He's been studying for it for the last few months. Spent all morning studying too, like just double checking his knowledge. Yeah, that's very similar to out here. We have a lot of people coming in from Texas. Like lately on the roads, it's all I seem to be seeing are Nevada, Texas, and California license plates. So we're getting lots of people that don't know how to drive in it. So just even the littlest bit of snow. What makes it worse is these are the same people that get like really upset when drivers are driving slow in the snow. He'll probably be coming home within the next hour or so. But yeah, I know he's got this. He's just got to make sure he doesn't get in his own head. That's got to be rough. Um, Currently, we have we have one of the newest like developing tech centers in the country just outside of town. So there's Reno and Sparks, they're sister cities. They're like one city. And about, I'd say 45-minute to an hour drive down the freeway east from us is another town called Fernley. And then right in between the two towns, they have this like new tech center, the Reno Tahoe uh, uh, and technological. It's something like that. I don't know. I used to work out that way, but I can't do the drive anymore. There's always accidents on the freeway during any kind of snow. And because it's like the main artery into town from like anything east of us, so anything that needs to be shipped into town comes through the 80. And then we get these accidents on there, and they're always involving semis and people on their way to work. I don't know whose idea it was to put this data center so far out of town. I mean, I do know why they did it, just because the amount of pollution it's going to be creating. But at the same time, it's just like whenever it snows, you just so many accidents because like every day there's thousands of people driving out there from our area of town, and it's like a 45-minute on like no traffic 45-minute drive. It just seems so crazy. Like if you live in snow, like take the time to learn to drive in the snow. It will definitely be worth it. And it's about half and half. Like half of the drivers on the road will have snow tires, and then most of the time they have them on, and we don't get any snow, so they'll take them off, and then we get snow. So then you also get drivers like that. But most of the people, like, there's definitely at least half of them do not have any kind of snow tires. Yep, I I I understand that. I when I was working out that way, when we would get snow, like instead of doing 75 on the freeway back into town, we go on like 35, and you get all these people just behind you, like pissed off. Like I'm in the right lane. I'm driving slow in the snow. I don't want to get into an accident. And then there's the same cars that you'll see like a couple miles down the road, like lost control, and they're off in the ditch in the shoulder. Just actually had a video go viral for like in town viral for a car that was driving on somebody's bumper, went to swerve around them during the snow, and they lost control right in front of this car. Like, okay. Like, I get you want to be home or be wherever you need to be. I want to be home too, but I would rather get home safe with my car intact. Yeah, we have all season tires on ours. We have a Subaru Crosstrek, and we got all season tires on our car. We wanted to also do winter tires, but everything just got so expensive out here. When we replaced our tires, we just opted for the all season. We also don't do much driving, like maybe 5 miles a day, if that. Yeah, if we were to drive out of town, we would most definitely have winter tires put on. Because I do kind of agree. Like, those all season tires don't really save you from inches of snow that hasn't been plowed. Yeah, I don't really do much driving. I used to, but and I did have winter tires when I was a caregiver and going to people's houses and helping them navigate through their lives. And I had to drive them to like doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, any kind of like state appointment they may have had. Yeah, I had my winter tires on for that, mainly because I was more worried about my clients than I was myself. I didn't want anything happening to them, and since I had to do so much driving, I always erred on the cautious side with them. I wish they would do that out here. They do in Utah. I was with one of my friends when she was buying a car out in Utah, and she got a set of winter tires with her car. But I was pretty happy with how I was able to talk them down. Anyways, we're the first owners of our Crosstrek. We got it with 1 mile on it. It was the first brand new car I'd ever purchased, and we were able to talk them down about just under 10 grand from what they had it marked at, which was cheaper than like we went out to Carson City, our state capital, for it, and we got it for cheaper than anything we could have found here in town. So I was very happy with that. We did get a set of winter tires. Yeah, I was pretty proud of myself for that one. And I was like hyping myself up before going to the dealership too, because it's about a 40-minute drive south of us to get into Carson City. Oh no, I put my hand in wet paint. But I was all hyping myself up in the car. I was like telling myself like what I'm gonna say and like imagining how the conversation was gonna go. And I had a goal for the price that I wanted to talk him down to, which they had it marked at 35 and some change, and we were able to talk him down to after taxes it was like 26,500. So I was really happy. Like I got super close to my goal, which was to get it as close to 25K as I could. We actually just paid it off. That was definitely a proud achievement. Getting a new car, having it completely paid off, just in time for all of our other bills to skyrocket in price. But at least it helps. We would have definitely been in trouble had we still had the car payment with all the price of all of our other bills going up. Power, like we have something going on with the power company out here. I'm just like, I don't understand why what they're thinking is with this. So in April we have a new policy hit in our power where each day they're going to take however many watts you used during your peak 15 minutes of the day. So whatever 15 minutes in your day you are using the most power for, they are going to then multiply that so it counts for the entire day. And that is now how your power bill is going to be priced. Did everything I could to try to voice my opposition to it, but it passed. And I'm just like, okay, well, now we got to prepare for that because our power bill is probably going to either triple or quadruple in some cases. Yeah, I don't understand what genius thought like, oh yeah, this is the way we should do that. charging for the entire day for the most wattage they use in a 15-minute period. Oh, it is absolutely the data centers causing it. We have Google, Microsoft, Tesla. Like Tesla's got the Gigafactory here, and they're using up so much of it. But Google, they have a big new data center opening up. Microsoft does as well. And I'm just sitting here like, we're in a desert. Where are they getting all this water that they need? We are literally in a desert. And then the power that those data centers are going to take just to keep the AC going. And like they're huge complexes. The Tesla building is just it is gigantic. And they use up so much power. So yep, that's NV energy offsetting the savings that they're going to be giving these data centers to come into town. And they're just pushing it onto us. It's just one of those things that just makes me feel really helpless about it because like I feel like there were enough people like voicing opposition to it and trying to stop it, but they went through anyways, and they get all these tax breaks. And then there's also like people in town like cheering it on, and I'm just like, while they're also complaining like I can't afford stuff and our power bill's going up. Like you were championing this stuff. Like there's a cause and effect. Why are we not thinking about what the cause and effect is going to be by bringing in all of these data centers? I absolutely agree. We got like I mean Reno's not like Las Vegas, where Las Vegas is like their casinos are use up so much power, but our casinos up here they're also pretty bright, use up a lot of power, and they get all of these breaks for being a business when they're using up so much more power than everybody else. And then yeah, they're giving even better ones to the data centers. I agree. Like they should be paying more. If you're going to be using up more of the electricity, you should be paying more. The one I've been watching for is I don't know how it's going to affect us, but our water bill. So we do have the Truckee River cuts through town, and that's what brings us our water. But uh, the Reno Tahoe International Complex, that's like downstream of us. So I'm curious how it's going to affect us and our power bill for water. The thing is like I see it more affecting Fernley just because we're pretty much getting our water before it goes down to the data center. But Fernley's getting it after, but they do have additional water sources like that are separate from the Truckee River. Doing my best to try to like stay aware of what's happening in my own community. There's so much other craziness going on out there. But I am definitely hoping we get some better opposition to our mayoral races. We just get like this one guy runs every single freaking year. Some crazy guy. My opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't want to get like hit with slander or anything. But like this one guy that runs every single freaking year. My only interactions with him have all been like make me go like you were definitely somebody I do not want in my life. Of course, he's running again, and then our current mayor, I think she's done. She's terming out. But I really haven't liked some of the things that she's brought into the city. She's definitely more business first and resident second. But everybody loved her because she's progressive. And just feel like okay, she says she is, but are you like paying attention to her actions? Because her actions are saying she's business first. She's not progressive. Oh, I don't need to be venting about this stuff though. It's just hard to not have it on the mind right now. But that's why I paint. Help take a moment to breathe. Kind of pause the other responsibilities. Not pay attention to what is going on. Put it on pause, if you will, just so I can stay sane. A couple spots in this tree that just look a little wonky to me. So, like right here, I don't know if it's popping up on the camera. I feel like the leaves are just too organized, if that makes sense. I need to figure out a way to kind of like fix this. I definitely did something weird. I gotta make it look like some leaves are going a different direction. So, one of the things like I try to do, and it just like I will tweak it, but like with the tree like this, where it's so prominent in the foreground, I try to do like a rule of threes for like there's three types of colors I'm going for, which are the lowlights, midtones, highlights, and I'll do three lowlights, three midtones, and three highlights, and it just kind of adds like what feels to me like a natural gradient of the colors, and I'll like push them forward like or push them up the scale. So like I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but I'll start with the low lights. I start with my darkest color first, and then I'll brighten it up by adding in the other colors I need. So my goal is to get into like this golden yellow color up here, and I'm starting with this green, and after I finish this shade, I'm gonna add in some more of that golden yellow to just kind of like start brightening the green up. That way the greens all play very nicely together, and everything's gonna like feel like one cohesive unit. And like when I go further back, I'll decrease like the numbers. So like in these trees back here, there's one low light, a mid-tone, and two highlights. Looking at the yeah. So like I just decrease the number of low lights, mid-tones, and highlights as I get further back, just to kind of like push that perspective. Gotta make sure I also do like this bright yellowish green color. still need to fix whatever this is. And it's probably just me. Yeah, I'm getting like lost in my I'm trying to like plan this out and I'm getting like lost in my thoughts. Hello, Shanara. I haven't actually said your name out loud and I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. Welcome, welcome. Please correct me if I do mispronounce anything. I will do my best. I just saw something and I lost it. Need to add some of these colors. And I don't want to put my hand in wet paint again. Also need to start working on the perspective. Keep which branches are in front of what branches. And this one is definitely going to be in the front of that one. Of course. Have fun working on your art project, Brett. I am glad to see that. Thank you. Glad to see that I got the name right. Like, I do want to make sure I'm trying my best. Yeah, it is going to be a lot more dense, but I'm also trying to like keep in mind where I'm going to be putting in the other highlights because I still have 6 more colors to add. So this is going to end up like really looking lush. With just like little pockets of the sky behind peeking through. We need to have these ones just kind of like start forcing that perspective of where they're going to sit. And this branch right here should be the closest one like to the viewer's eye. Did you finish watching Spam Creates video, Shanara? I really enjoyed this week's video. I like where the duck universe is going for her. And providing lots of good smiles and laughs. You're gonna enjoy it. I won't spoil anything. It was a good video this week. feel like I don't have enough darker leaves right here. Darken this up just a little bit. Yeah. And that's kind of helping with that weird, like, organization I felt the leaves were getting. It's kind of happening right there too, but I'll get to that one. Oh, I think the helicopters are back. I wonder if they're drills. Yeah, it's okay. She's got a lot of different content up there to keep you entertained. I feel like the last couple of months for her have been some of her best months yet, which makes me really excited to see where it's going. Because yeah, she's had some really great episodes the last few months. Her art has been leveling up. I'm really proud of her. I need some more of the lighter low lights. And I feel like I'm starting to move into mid tones, but that's okay. This side of the tree was just looking a little bit dark. I need to get down there too. Yeah, she's definitely coming to her own. I have not been with her since the beginning. And off and on watched her episodes for like the last 2 years. But like really within the last year, like when I started taking my own YouTube stuff serious and like started understanding like how important the engagement is to like if you really like a creator and you want to help them out, like how to support them with engagement to help them get picked up by the algorithm so more people can see them. So I've been trying my best with that. And yeah, like this last year especially. How's it going, Leanne? Getting some work done on this tree. I should not have put that leaf in front of that. Oh well. I'll cover it up. I'm kind of messing up the perspective here, or I can just change it completely. I'll just add some little leaves right here. Was it that Bob Ross says, no mistakes, just happy accidents? I feel like I'm getting a pretty good variety. That's not the right color. This is. I know I shouldn't do this. I need to get something that's a little bit better than a paint knife to mix with. So I stopped mixing paint with my brushes. It's not good on your brushes. If you're doing it, like, I know I'm doing it, but maybe this year we can find better tools to mix paint with than our brushes. So far, I think I'm at about 56 hours. Around there. I'm trying to think of how many lives I did. Because I was at 40, about 45 hours before I had started like using the lives to paint this. So I'd say probably about 58 hours. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, it does take some time. My videos they're a little deceptive with how quickly they could come out. Like um Protect Your Peace, that painting that took me almost 60 hours. I kind of stopped keeping track after I hit 50, but that took me about 60 hours to make. I just get lost in the process. Not quite mid enough. But I have a lot of fun getting lost in the details. I feel like we are on our way to that mid-tone green though. So I'm on the right track. I haven't had lemon meringue pie in a minute. I'm not a big pie eater though, but I do love me some good pie. Lemon meringue is one of those pies I like. I agree. One of the things I've done things like this since I was really little. Um, like I would take my time when, let's see, like okay, when I was little and drawing like my house, and I would draw the grass in front of my house. I would like take my time and like draw out each blade with a crayon, and I had teachers like, you don't need to do that. You can just like color it one color and it'll be fine. Just because like drawings were starting to take me a long time when I was really little. And the teachers were always like trying to move the class along. So it's definitely something like I've done for a very long time. And then as I've gotten older, I just kind of like started learning what criticism was like, what kind of criticism was good and going to help me grow, and what kind of criticism was more not criticism and their opinion that they just didn't like what I was creating. And I think some people don't understand there's a difference. Like, you can have taste, and your taste could be different, and you not like what an artist creates because that's just not your taste in art. That doesn't make it constructive criticism. Yeah, it's part of me. That's one of the things like I want to try to like help others see is like there's a difference between the kinds of criticism people will give you. Some is valid, and some people think it's criticism to tell somebody that, you know, like they don't like their art, when that's kind of like a fundamental part of that artist's style. So it's not constructive criticism, it's just a difference of likes. And it took me a while to figure that out. So definitely like something I want to help other people understand. Exactly. That's a really great way to say it, Rory. And I felt like a lot of the things that people were telling me to like stop doing was making my art closer to what they wanted versus what I wanted. The other thing that I think people struggle to understand is like you can you can see something in someone's work where they can improve and still enjoy what they create. Like I've noticed this a lot on TikTok. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, your drawing, your artwork's not perfect, so I can't appreciate or like any part of it." I don't know like why that's gotten started too so much, but I see that a lot on TikTok. And that's another one like I want to try to like help people understand it's not going to help you grow, because you can absolutely appreciate someone's artwork and see like they still have growing to do, but appreciate the work and the heart and soul they put into it. It is not my first live. My first live was on Christmas Eve, and I had a lot of fun with it and kind of want to keep doing more lives. And so when I've been having opportunities, I've been trying to go live. I'm also trying to go at different times so that I could get different artists, well, different artists, different audience members to join. I've had some, like last Friday, I did a really late night for me, which is like early morning Saturday for those in the UK, but it was like afternoon for the Australian member, like audience members. So I had a couple pop in, and that was fun. I definitely lean more towards that. I also like try to keep myself into check. Like if I do see something where I'm like, Oh, I they could start doing this. I think it could improve their vision and what they're wanting to go for. But like reminding myself, just because people did it to me doesn't mean I need to do it to others. Unsolicited criticism isn't always a good thing. That's why I don't buy that whole like, well, when you post it online, you're opening yourself up to criticism. No, no. People are allowed to share themselves free from criticism. Just because they post it online doesn't mean like they have to accept criticism. So like I'm trying to do better at that. Even if my intent is to help, like it can still be negatively taken. Yeah, you had mentioned that you were going through some stuff and you were dealing with being sick. I'm glad to see you're feeling a little bit better. I hope it continues. Life is definitely dealing everybody blows right now. Oh, are you guys out of water? Give me a second. Oh, I gotta go add some water to the water dish. I didn't realize the doggies were low on water. Uno momento. Okay, I'm back. Exactly, Rory. That's what I try to live by now. Because I didn't have that when I was younger, and I felt that definitely would have helped had I had more people cheering me on versus just criticizing everything I did. My favorite was like, "Oh, this is good, but this is good, but." And I don't want to be that person for others. I didn't enjoy it all the time. I mean, like there were some instances where there was some actual really good criticism that I was given that has helped me. But I felt like most of the time people were like, it's just constructive criticism. It was more like, that's probably a thought you could have just kept in your head. It's not going to help me at all in what I'm trying to work with my art. Yeah, I'm in a couple Discords. I'm not the hugest fan of Discord itself. The platform is just kind of like, oh, it overwhelms my brain. I don't know what it is about it, but it just kind of like reminds me of my spam folder on my email, and it just kind of like overwhelms me. But I'm on some Discords, and yeah, for the most part, when I do see people sharing their artwork, it's more just like, cheering others on, celebrating what they did, like what they did, and if you notice something or if they ask, pointing out like, I think like this could probably be tweaked a little bit in this way, and this is how it will help it like better get towards your goal for what you're looking for. But I mostly just like take it for what it is and appreciate the time that that person took to create that. How's it going, Illustrated? Day is definitely improving. Getting a chance to work on some art. Had a slightly like relaxed morning, kind of helping my husband like breathe and ease into studying. He's taking a an exam for a certification for his work. So he's been studying for it for the last few months, and just wanted to help him like breathe, not overthink and stress before his exam. Should actually be back within the next like 30 minutes or so. So I'll find out how he did, but I know he's going to do good. He knows all of the material. He's very skilled at his job. He just sells himself short sometimes. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like, yeah, very poorly organized. And it's not like it's just a fundamental thing of the platform itself. I'm in a few. I'm not on Discord enough to like justify being in a whole bunch. I feel like it's just gonna make it harder to stay on top of the ones I am in. How's it going, Frosty? How's it going? Yeah, he's been taking practice exams, and he when he's not thinking about it and he just goes with his gut because he knows what he knows the material, he does great. He was getting fantastic scores on his exam. When he was overthinking and then he was getting in his own head, he was not doing as great. So I that's why this morning I just wanted to try and help him like breathe, relax. You know the material. You're good at your job. You got this. Don't overanalyze or overthink it, because that's when you second guess yourself and mess up with your answers. Glad to see that, Frosty. You getting any snow yet out in your area? We had some flurries earlier, but nothing stuck to the ground. And it maybe lasted like 10 minutes. It was not a very long, like, little flurry either. Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna get more tonight with the way that the storm is coming in. All I know is I can feel it in my neck. If you guys know anything about the Oregon Trail, Frosty and I actually live like maybe like a 15-20 minute drive down the freeway from Donner Pass, where the Donner Party got lost in the snow in the Sierra Nevadas. That's what my area is like famous for. So like we'll get snow, but that's a little bit further up in the mountains, and they tend to get more than we do. We're down in the valley. Yeah, I was seeing that we're going to be getting hit with a winter vortex with possible frigid temperatures all the way down into Florida. Yeah, it's because all of the clouds get stuck at the top of the mountain. You gotta kind of like it kind of like catches the clouds, and so the clouds will hover over the tops of the mountains a little bit longer, and then when they finally get enough momentum and push over, they've already lost, like dumped a bunch of their precipitation. Whew, Rory, that is cold. My word. That gave me the chills. I have not been in temperatures that cold outside of an industrial freezer. Well, be safe out there, Rory. Yeah, that could cause a lot of issues. Hopefully, your pipes are secured and covered. I do too. I think one of my favorite things that we get a lot out here during the winter is we'll get those, I forgot what they're called. The clouds that are super high up in the atmosphere, and then they're all rainbow colored and they look really wispy. Like we'll get those in the winter. I have like tons of pictures on my phone whenever I see that phenomena. I think it's one of my favorite things about winter out here, and when those clouds pop up. Yeah, I can't imagine -30 C. That is just that is really freaking cold. I would probably go out and like do all the fun things people I see people doing on TikTok with like the boiling water and making clouds, throwing it up into the air. We don't get that cold down here. Although I will say, like, I've been seeing some of my friends down in Vegas complaining about how cold it is, and it was like 70 degrees when I looked on my phone at what the temperature was. Oh, and the wind chill on top of that. Oh my goodness. It would definitely be a light a fire and have some hot cocoa night. Yeah, I could probably do a little bit colder. Like, I don't know, maybe if I moved out to Winnemucca, it's a little colder out there than it is for me during the winters. Like, maybe that could be like the coldest I would be okay with, but like too much colder. I was born in the desert. I'm used to a 120-degree temperature Fahrenheit. Like, those are the temperatures I'm used to. I know how to survive in the hot. I don't necessarily like the hot, but I feel like I can function a little bit better in the heat. This one needs to be in front. This one needs to be in front. You just know your temperature range. You know your body. You know your temperature range and what you're suited for. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you're suited for. Oof, that's not good. Yeah, I will say like it's the same thing with it being out in the desert. Like you definitely tend to avoid going outside between noon and 5 o'clock in the evening because that's just the hottest period of the day. You try to get done with whatever you need to get done in the morning or in the evening. But Vegas is a weird city. I've been to like other deserts where the city really cools down at night. Vegas doesn't. Vegas stays hot. It's hot during the day, it's hot at night. It's just hot. Are you really just a vampire? I apologize for joking if it's you don't want that. It's just the first thing that popped in my head. Yeah, I would probably get like a heated blanket at the very least. Because I could just imagine like the heating bill's gonna like really get you on those super cold days. Okay, I'm kind of liking how this is starting to starting to look. I need to push that forward though. I think I need a couple more leaves down in this area. Yeah, you got to make sure you're keeping yourself covered no matter what then. Take care of yourself. I feel for having stuff wrong with your skin though. I don't have anything like Ed's, but I have eczema and contact dermatitis. I actually just had a reaction yesterday to a body wash I'd been using for months. All of a sudden felt like somebody had poured acid on my skin. It was burning me. So now I had to go try and get new body washes. I have to be super careful about what kind of like scents and detergents are in them. And it sucks because it was a brand that I've been using for a while because like it seemed fine on my skin. If you lived closer, I would probably make you a parasol. I had a friend in high school. She couldn't sit in the sun too long either, even though she lived in Las Vegas. Like it would cause her to have all sorts of different reactions. The biggest one was like she would they weren't quite seizures, but they were like seizures caused from the heat. But it wasn't like a heat exhaustion, a type of fainting spell. I learned how to make parasols when I was in middle school. I had made her one. The dermatitis one I do not like. I can't seem to find anything that helps with it. And then of course like everybody has to be a critic when it comes to things to try to help you. A lot of people are like, well, it's your diet. Your diet is what's causing it. You got to change what you're eating. I eat healthier now than I have ever eaten in my life, and I feel like it's the worst it's ever been. I feel like though that's just getting older. Getting older is what's causing it to just progress. I do hope you have at least a support network, group of people who understand and work with you. It makes getting through that kind of stuff so much easier. My husband gives me so much crap about like I have to find special laundry detergents and special soaps for you. Like he gives me crap for it, but he's joking with it. He does support me and he really does go out of his way to try to like whenever he does the shopping to go and get what he knows is going to help me and not cause a breakout. Oh, you're well, happy birthday, Illustrated. Entering your final year of the 30s. Us millennials are getting old. Yeah, I was thinking like if I were to make you a parasol, it would definitely be like a goth inspired parasol. Or maybe I would recreate one from like if you ever played Animal Crossing, they have those lace parasols and they have the black one with the white lace. I feel like that would be a fun project. I would definitely need to get better at sewing though. The parasol, like I do know how to make them made out of paper. Oh, you're the final year, the millennial, Frosty. Yeah, the final millennials are turning 30 this year. You need to get a bigger one. I would definitely like I used to take things that I'd have to do to the extreme. Like I'd make a statement with it when I was younger. I would probably do that with a parasol. If I needed a parasol, I'm gonna make a statement with my parasol. I mean, Johnny, you're technically old enough to have a kid in middle school. My little bit of time on Red Note when I hopped over there to try it all out before like things got like weird. I was getting called Unc a lot over there. Uncle. One of my other friends was getting called Gramps, and he's a year younger than me, so that made me laugh. I was getting called Unc, and he was getting called Gramps. So I mean, I would take Unc over getting called Gramps. I don't know where Unc came from for English, but on Red Note, it's kind of like a Chinese custom. They call someone older uncle or auntie. I think auntie might be it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do see auntie a lot. So yeah, Unc and auntie. That's funny. No flying away. Okay, Leanne, I hope you have a wonderful night. Have a good night's sleep. Oh my goodness. That means that she was born the year before I graduated high school. Oh, that blows my mind. I know how old I am. I know I'm old. But then, like, actually thinking about it just blows my mind. Seeing somebody and, like, oh, you look like you're in middle school. Like, how old are you? I'm 22, and I'm like, oh my gosh. You do not look 22. You look so much younger. The 23. Oh my gosh. I want to say like time needs to slow down. It's going too fast, but like I understand why it's going fast. I actually had to write a paper on this when I was in college on why as you get older time goes by faster. Like why it seems like everything is speeding up. I actually loved researching this. This was and I know I'm not like an expert on the topic, but it was definitely like a fun rabbit hole to fall down into. Like why the perception of time speeds up as you get older. So like I guess the simplest way to break it down, um let's say I'm going to do just like I'm going to use paintbrushes since I have so many right here. I can do that. So like let's say the paintbrushes represent 1 year and we're going to start with a base year of 5. So like when you're 5 years old, 1 year is a lot compared to how many years you've been alive. So it seems like a year takes forever because you just don't know like how to compare it to the rest of your lives. Now, if you were to turn this into 30, 1 year, one paintbrush out of 30 paintbrushes doesn't seem like that much. Like it's like okay, it's just one paintbrush. And so when you're thinking about a year compared to the 30 years you've been alive, it doesn't seem like that much. And in that relation, 1 year to a 5 year old takes a long time because 1 year is a lot to them. Whereas when you're 30, 1 year isn't that much. And it will skew your perception of time and make it seem like time is actually going by faster. If that makes sense. I'm hoping like I hope I made that as simple as possible to understand. But I did a whole report on that in college. It was probably one of my favorite essays I wrote. Which is funny because in the moment when I was thinking about that, like assigned that essay, I was not looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be boring. I ended up really enjoying it. Just even though like my concept of time sucks, still like understanding why it just seems like things are going by faster the older you get. Yes, exactly. Illustrated. I know exactly what you're talking about. Going to like I've been to a couple like recitals and stuff for my niece that were in schools, and I'd walk into the bathroom and like, oh my gosh, everything is so tiny. Like, is there a big people restroom, please? And everything is just so tiny. Like trying to use the water fountain, and I almost feel like I have to get down onto my knees. Yeah, that's probably part of the routine. That's another thing that causes time to seem like it's going by faster. When you're in a fixed routine, and that's just because your brain's not creating as many memories as when it's something new that you're experiencing. Your brain tends to create more memories from it, and that creation of more memories makes time seem like it's slowed down a little bit. Whereas when you're in a set schedule, a very repetitive schedule, your brain tends to like just dismiss details because you already know it. There's no threats perceived, and that will also make it seem like things are going by a lot faster. That's one of the things that gets people in the workforce so much, especially like here in the States where people just don't take vacations because we can't afford them. That repetitiveness just makes everything seem like it's going by so much quicker and leads to burnout a little bit quicker, in my opinion. You just made yourself a little mountain, didn't you? I'll have to. This is why I can't have nice things. I clean and organize, and then he's got to move everything around. Decided he was going to make himself a pillow mountain to take a nap on. Are you comfortable? I guess that's all that matters, huh? Onyx is just passed out already. Did I scare you? Did your guys' walk wear you out? Are you tired? Ah, my little cuties. Yeah, I agree. Illustrated. It's just hard. It is really hard for us. So many people in the states just cannot afford it. I don't think a lot of people in the rest of the world understand like how much our government has nickled and dimed us. When people just cannot afford to go on vacations. I mean, granted, I know it's like that in most of the world, but there's just like, from what I've seen, there's just something different about how they've like have the United States' workforce structured. Like we got to pay for our health insurance, which doesn't seem like it covers anything, and you can't let that lapse. You got to work to make sure you can pay it. I mean, we don't get vacation time. So many jobs out here just don't even offer vacation time, let alone sick time. So many jobs don't even offer health insurance. So like you get sick and then they're like, well, in order to return to work, you have to have a doctor's note, but they don't offer health insurance. So like you can't even afford to go to the doctor. No, I hope you're able to get some relief. I know it's just I don't think it's very fair that your body's doing that kind of stuff to you. Not anything you can help, but I hope your body gives you a little break. Like, for example, my last job, I was a recognized care provider for, like, with a company and recognized by the state, like, to be able to provide care services to at need individuals. And the pay was just horrible. I loved the job, but like $12 an hour, and I had to use my own vehicle. Like we didn't even have vehicles provided to us to be able to take our clients to the doctors, groceries, shopping, anything that they needed. It was all of our own vehicle, and we would be reimbursed like uh it was 25 cents a mile, but like when it breaks it down, like that barely covers gas, let alone like maintenance on your car. And I know teachers have it just as bad out here. Like so much of their own money and paycheck goes back into their students. I have quite a few friends who are teachers, and it just like blows my mind the amount of their own money they put into the stuff they need for their classrooms. And I'm starting to see like I have friends who are nurses, and they're like, some of the hospitals are like they're getting their own stuff to bring into hospitals to like be able to wash blankets or things like that. Scrubs, like not stuff for the patients, but like stuff that the hospital used to provide to like wash their scrubs, like blankets and stuff in there. They're now like have to pay for themselves, and it just seems like everybody's like now moving into you have to pay for everything for the job that needs you to work for it. A lot of people, unfortunately, here are. I have family members who absolutely should be on disability. They cannot get work any place that they've tried working at. Just literally told them, just due to their health issues, you're too much of a liability to work here. We can't hire you. Cannot find a job, but because they're married, they're now no longer qualified for any kind of like assistance. And that's another one that just like blows my mind. It's just like, oh, the government's like, you're married now. You don't need our help, even though like we have a society where it's literally built that both members need to work in a relationship. Gone are the days where households could survive on one income. Yeah, I wasn't able to this last year. I was barely able to do what I normally do every year, but I would try to buy backpacks filled with like not just art supplies, school supplies, and they would do backpack drives, and I would try to donate as many as I could each year. I wasn't able to this last year. I was barely able to do like my homeless bags that I do every Christmas. I'd buy backpacks and tote bags and stuff like that from thrift stores, clean them up, make them look as close to new as I could get them, and then put in like we would hit up Ross or other like discount stores, buy brand new blankets, like the cheap ones that you could. I don't know. We weren't able to really find any of this last year, but we would be able to find blankets in years past that were like a couple bucks each, and I would kind of like buy as many as I could. Each backpack would get a blanket. I would put socks in them. What else would I put in them? Toiletries, like a toothbrush, floss, toothpaste, body wash, dry shampoo, deodorant, like, and everything. I'd always try to make sure is like non-scented, no additives to it, just because I have sensitive skin, and I'm sure there are people out there with sensitive skin. So like, I would just try to get the scent free stuff as best I could, which was also expensive. And then I would also add like pads and tampons into half. So I would have half ready for any women that I might come across, half for men that I might come across. Also add in like all sorts of non-perishable foods, crackers, chips, uh, water, juice, emergency, the like the little packets with vitamins, and like that's basically what I would fill up these backpacks, and I just drive around town, and whenever I see somebody in need, any homeless, I just literally park the car, pull out some backpacks, let them pick which one they would want, point out like these ones, if you know any women, these backpacks have pads and tampons in them, and then these backpacks are just plain, don't have that in it. So like 2 years ago, I was able to do 80 of those and hand them out across town. And this last year, I was only able to do 20. Just everything's gotten so expensive. For our area, especially in the winter, because it does get cold at night here, like people don't turn down that kind of stuff. And it's a backpack. I know the backpack's gonna get used. Like I try to make sure there's stuff in it I know the person is going to use and appreciate. And like anything to carry your stuff is definitely a valuable tool to have. Better than any of the like the plastic grocery bags that we would see a lot. Some years I would even put in there like I would buy gift cards like from Subway or someplace, Little Caesars. You know, something that like if I put $10 on the card, if I could afford it, would be able to get like one or two meals. But the blankets were another one that like people really appreciated, just because like those are things that you just don't think about the homeless needing. And socks, especially socks. Yeah, I had some friends kind of help remind me of that. I was really down on myself because, you know, 2024, I made almost 80 bags, and that was the most I had ever done. I was really proud of that achievement because I was like, I really put my all into that to hand out the bags, and like we were still fine, bill wise. We were being taken care of, and I was happy with that. And then this last year, just remembering like the year before, I was able to do nearly 80 bags, and this year I was only able to do 20, and I couldn't even afford the backpacks this year, like the thrift stores. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how much the thrift stores in my area have just like skyrocketed in price. Like I used to be able to get backpacks and stuff for like $2, $3, and then the last year when I went in and was looking at the backpacks, they were like 15 to $20. I was like, what the heck? These are used backpacks. Why are they almost as much as brand new backpacks? So I couldn't even do the backpacks this year. The most I was able to do was like buy the cheap reusable bags and filled those up. Yeah, you're gonna get people like that no matter where you're at or what you're trying to do. I just I never really dealt with anybody who would get like mad at me, but somebody else was like, well, I don't need the backpack, and I was just like, well, you can take what you need and leave it, and I would just like restock the backpack. Like that was the most I would get for when I was handing out stuff. But I have seen people take weird offense to people trying to just offer a nice gesture. I just do my best to move on. Like, okay, well, sorry, you don't need it. This is all I have to offer. Yeah, it's the thrift stores that are blowing my mind the most. I just cannot believe like how much the thrift store prices have just skyrocketed the last like year. Especially when like most of these thrift stores, everything is donated to them. They get all of this stuff for free. You're gonna be the one furthest in the back. And the sad thing is like I'm watching the thrift stores because my clients that I used to work with, a lot of them worked at thrift stores. And like I know what they were making there, and these thrift stores would be charging so much more money for all of their merchandise, yet their employees aren't making any more money. And that was like kind of turned me off of a few thrift stores watching that. Like, unfortunately, due to the clients that I had, like, in order to receive their benefits, they would have to work. But they can't make more than, like, I think it was, they couldn't make more than a couple $100 because, including their social security, whatever they made could not exceed, like, I think it was 1,200 a month. So, and like their social security benefits that they would get would like tally up to like 1,100 a month, but the requirements were that they had to also work, and then that whatever work they were doing couldn't increase how much money they had, even including bills paid and anything like that, for more than 1,200. So like these places would get away paying like the clients that I used to work for 25 cents an hour. And I had to like stop talking to one of the charities. I was like starting to get pretty close to like the owner of the charity, like talking with him and everything. And like he started saying some stuff that was really like rubbing me the wrong way, like kind of just like boasting about how much money he makes with his the thrift shop charity that he was running. And then I found out like he like The reason he went into it is because like the government requires that, or doesn't require them to pay more than 25 cents an hour to people who are on disability. And it's like, I'm like, that's how you're making all your money. You're totally like scamming those in need, and you're perpetuating it. And so hated that kind of stuff. It really just rubbed me the wrong way. Like I still kind of irks me. 25 cents an hour. That's all you feel justified paying somebody who's putting in an entire day's work. Well, they're special needs. They can't do a good job. I'm like, and it's making sure they still get their benefits. No, no, no. That's absolutely crap. You are working them basically full-time hours, paying them 25 cents an hour. Yeah, it's one of like probably my most hated thing about like the system regarding disability and those who need assistance. It is just made for businesses to completely take advantage of these people. And it's like that across the country, anywhere in the United States. So many charities will hire individuals with cognitive disabilities, learning disabilities, even physical disabilities. And because they're getting disability, it justifies the employer paying them ridiculously low amounts of money. And they turn around and play it off, well, like, I can't pay them more because they would lose their benefits. Like, well, if you actually paid them a living wage with how much you're working, they probably wouldn't need the benefits anymore. But at the same time, it's just like you got to make sure that they stayed insured because they have their own medical needs that they have to have taken care of. It is just such a crappy situation. And nobody, no politician or anything like that wants to hear any of that. I have tried making my calls, and they just push you aside. Like, okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm getting really sick of trying to call my elected officials. It just very out of touch. I won't stop though. I'm like, not until the day I die. I'm not gonna stop because I know like if I keep doing it and other people start doing it and more people start doing it, it could bring the change that we would like to see. Because honestly, I feel like so many of these individuals, they shouldn't even be forced to work. And they're only doing it because they have to, but they don't even understand the job. They don't understand like what it's taking from them. And they don't understand that like they're being used. And so like that's one thing I absolutely would wish we could change. Give them more free will and an opportunity to just enjoy their lives and help society and be a part of it in their own way. And thank you, Illustrated. I'm having some fun with it. It is really starting to pop now, yeah. Got some mid-tones added in. Baxter, buddy. Yeah, you're drinking too fast. Baxter, slow down. The water's not going anywhere. I literally just refilled it. Are you gonna slow down? I'm gonna put you on camera again. He walked away. I do try to keep up with like how some of my old clients are doing. I miss them. But for the most part, they're doing pretty good. Just wish I wish they had better access to the care that they need. I also kind of like wish we'd have better protections in place for some of the owners of the facilities that take care of clients, like the place I used to work for. It's just become such a money grab. I had to kind of like just stop working in that industry because I couldn't take it anymore. Owners are making big bucks paying little bucks to the actual caregivers, while providing like the least amount of benefits to the individuals who needed the care. And it always just rubbed me the wrong way because like these people, the clients, they can't even help anything. They had no choice in how life is for them. They have no way of like saying, going into a store and saying like this place isn't accessible to me, because all of society is basically just built around able-bodied people to the max. And I'm guilty of this myself, just being completely ignorant to like understanding the difficulty it is for individuals with special needs, and how society is just not helpful to them at all. It seems like you have your own hurdles over in the UK dealing with very similar issues. I definitely feel like that kind of practice, like those shops, should definitely be more community driven, because so many of the owners of the thrift stores here in Reno, like the owners of them don't even live in town. So like it's just like I feel like they're not only getting all of the stuff for free from the community who's donating it to these thrift shops, but then the money that's spent on the items in the thrift shops isn't even staying within the community. It's just being funneled to some CEO somewhere else, with very little of it going back into like the employees or any kind of like community initiatives. Because like one of the thrift stores here, like they boast that they get involved with the community, and what they do is they kind of like pressure their employees to go out and volunteer. So like the employees are working there, but then also making the company look good because now they have to go volunteer for someplace else in the works uniform, but they're not getting paid for it. That's another like big thing out here I've seen. We do have some like businesses though that are starting to change that, and I hope that trend continues. Where if you go out and do volunteer charity work within the like in your off hours at work, they'll pay you for like up to 20 hours a month. So I'm hoping like stuff like that continues going, because I think that's a good way that companies could give back to the community. and help their employees out. I wouldn't stay with clients 24/7, but that's very similar to the kind of work that I did. I would go to the clients' houses, help them with whatever they need. Like we would go over what they wanted out of their life, like what their goals, their dreams, and stuff were, how I can assist them in attaining that kind of stuff, while also doing my best to help them maintain their health and like their place to live, food, things like that. So like one of my clients, I would pick him up from work. So I was with him in the afternoons and evenings, and I would pick him up from work. We would go to his doctor's appointments. We would do that kind of stuff. I would also be in charge of his meal prep. So I would make his week's worth of meals and let him pick out like what he wanted for dinner. He would tell me like what he was looking for. I would do my best to find recipes that could work with that for meal prep. And I would have him help me to the best of his abilities. His main thing was like he would be able to clean the kitchen, but the actual cooking process is where he struggled. So to help him be involved with it, he would clean the kitchen, and even then, like I never forced him to clean the kitchen. It was just kind of like part of my responsibilities. If he could that day, then great. If he couldn't, then I went ahead and took care of it just because I knew like it had to get done no matter what. He's got to eat. He doesn't understand like the importance of being of preparing food in a clean kitchen. So that's part of my job is if he can't do it, I will do it. And then we'd put his meals together. That was kind of like one of his favorite things about me coming over is I guess with like other employees when they would used to do his meal prep, they would always stick to the same thing and it would be like the same meal every week. I was very big on variety, letting him like he would see something in a show and he's like, I want to try this, like calzones. One day he saw calzones in a show and he's like, I want calzones. And so I learned how to make calzones for him. I got pre-made dough, which made it a lot easier, but we picked out the sauces that he wanted. We ended up picking out two different sauces, got little jars of like an Alfredo and a tomato sauce. Let him pick out all of the toppings he wanted, and we made calzones for one of his, and that was fun. I'd get him involved as best as I could, just to like, you know, let him feel like he had some control in his life. That was the big thing. It's like I wanted to help them make like feel like they had control over something. Yeah, oh, he absolutely loved it. He's probably the one I miss the most. He was really big into movies, so he had a really big movie collection. We would hit up the thrift stores, and like there was a local record shop that would sell DVDs. So he would pick out like a new DVD like every other week or so. That was like his treat was a new DVD, and he would do his grocery shopping, all of his doctor's appointments, his meal prep, which I really loved doing his meal prep because it always gave me ideas for like my own dinners. Because he would come up with some like weird things that he wanted, but I loved it. Like, he ended up, uh, uh, it wasn't a Spanish channel. I don't know how he ended up on like some weird network. I don't remember what language it was in, but it was not English. It was like some other language. And he was watching this show, and I asked him, I'm like, why are you watching this? You can't even understand what they're saying. And he's like, it's because of the food. The food looks good. And as he was watching it and I was helping him do like some chores and cleaning, he ended up stopping. He's like, I want to make that for dinner. And it was like these cheese stuffed puff pastry, and it was with like curry and rice. Just something that never would have crossed my mind to try and make, but he wanted it. So we got I looked up some recipes, got the recipes and ingredients, and that's what I ended up making him for one set of his dinners, and he really loved it. That was one of his favorites. And like I was able to implement that recipe into my own cooking because like after cooking it, I was like, that smelled really good. I kind of want to try that now myself. So I'd go home and get myself the ingredients and make it for dinners. And it was super easy. Like the pastry was kind of uh like some kind of like puff pastry dough. It was super easy, just like water, flour, and lots of butter, almost like a croissant. But you'd like cut it into little squares, and you would stuff it with like the recipe we ended up using for him was like cream cheese, spinach, and mustard seed, and it was really good. And then like just a simple like chicken curry and rice dinner. It's probably one of my favorites that I learned while working with him. I need to shut the window. I got the sun shining directly into my eyes. So yes, he did have a couple that he really like did not like. One was his tuna bake he wanted to try. And when like that kind of situation would happen, like the first time I would ever make a meal for him, I wouldn't make just the entire week that one meal. I would do like half and half. So, like with this tuna bake, because it was a new recipe, I ended up doing like a small tuna bake, and then the other half of his meals was like meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So if he didn't like it, he had a backup. And then when I would see him again, I would just kind of like make him a couple of additional new meals. So yeah, that did happen where he just didn't like the meals, but like I let him decide if he liked it or not. And that was like the big thing that finding out his past caregivers didn't necessarily do. And I get it, the job is stressful, but I wanted to try to make their life as comfortable as possible. I was too, but like I didn't tell my boss this, but I would actually take time. Like all of my clients got probably like an extra 30 minutes to an hour on most of the days I was with them because I was also super restricted. But like there were times where I was like, okay, you have to go to this client's house and you got to clean their house and help them with meal prep and make sure their laundry's all done, but you can only be with them for an hour. And I'm like, that's not enough time to get anything done. And so like in moments like that, I just would let them like I would write down because we had to write down our times and stuff. I would just write down and have the client sign that I worked for them less than I actually did. I did that quite a bit. I probably could have gotten into a lot of trouble for it, but there was just a need. Like I didn't think it was fair, and the clients just needed help in their lives. They didn't have anybody else. And if they like the other issue is like let's say was super strict on it, one of the things that they would have like issues with are clients going out and leaving their houses in like because they're bored or because like something isn't right within their home because they're very big on like everything being the same and being on schedules and routine. So like if something was too out of whack in their house, they would leave. And one of them, like, if the house is too messy, we had clients who would just like leave the house and they wouldn't go back into their house until the house was clean. They just didn't understand like they could help clean up the house, but that's where we came in to kind of like help them with that. But we're so restricted on time because I think like a lot of the clients were only given like 10 hours a week that they were allowed, and for some of the clients it just wasn't enough. That would be just doctor's appointments. Yeah, he'd get them in the morning. I was um, the provider that I worked for. We had like a community center where our clients could come in and socialize. And in the mornings, I would be there with a lot of our clients. We would also do volunteer work where we would go to different nonprofits that would give our clients a job so that like they could feel like they're contributing to the community, but really it was just like the state working them and saying like, okay, they're meeting their work requirements, but they're not getting paid for it. Which there were times where like I did not like how the owner would force some of the clients to go on these things, even though like the client absolutely did not want to do it. Like I thought we were really big on free will. We can't make our clients do anything. And I feel like making them go work at a nonprofit is taking away their free will. But she's like, well, I guaranteed them this many workers and we got to send in all the clients. And it's just like, I don't really like this. I do not agree with it. Lot, it's a lot wrong in so many of the industries. But that's why I would do my part, just to like help the clients as much as I could. It wasn't their faults. This isn't like the life they picked. It's just the life that they happen to have. I don't need to make it harder for them. Do they have a program in the UK where you get paid for taking care of him, doing what they were doing? We have a program like that here in the US, but it's pretty strict. I think I'm good on my midtones. Or this color of the midtone. I need to lighten it up a little bit now. Oh, I think right there I could do some more. This one is in front. Yes. Oh, goodness. So, it sounds like you guys got your own hurdles with your system out there, too. It's just. That is such a shame. Oh, no! Um. I think I need to re-glue my detail brush. I'm gonna show you guys a little trick though that I learned. I'm gonna have to switch brushes for the time being, but instead of glue, if this happens to your brush, acrylic tape or acrylic paint acts as a really great binder. And literally, that's all I'm gonna do. And now I just need to put it off to the side to let the acrylic paint dry. That's more than what most of the clients got that I took care of out here. The average was 20 hours a week was all they were allowed. And yeah, they would get charged like if somebody I knew who would need to see like a doctor and they can't drive themselves and they are charged out of their disability the transportation that they would need to get to their doctors, even though like so many of the clients don't even get a choice of who their doctor is. Like the doctor is assigned to them, so whether they like the doctor or not, they don't get a choice of being able to go see a different doctor. Okay, Illustrated, I hope you enjoy your dinner. And yeah, it, the other thing that reason that happens though is because like it means you left your brush in the water too much because the water degrades the paint or the degrades the glue inside the barrel. So like it just means like I've left my brush in the water too much. But yeah, acrylic paint will definitely help keep this sealed, and it like all of the air is pushed out because of the paint and it fills all the crevices really nicely. I've had many brushes I've done that to that have lasted way longer than they would have had I not tried to fix them. That is, there's so much in this world I wish I had the power to change. Doesn't stop me from trying. It's like, let me tell you, it does not stop me from trying. I've done my fair share of lobbying and trying to change things, but like, I do wish I could do a lot more. Not necessarily a fan of every aspect of the society we have built. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more. Is it sap green? No, that's not sap green. That is most definitely some green gold, though. Yep. It just tells me like these people, so many of them are just so out of touch. Oh, how's it going, curved metal? Curved pedal. Yeah, I just kind of more recently started going live, trying to at least do it like once a week, every other week. You working on your realistic Pokemon? You still working on Sylveon, or did you finish Sylveon? Yeah, why do you suggest doing the vertical? I'm glad your husband has someone like you who's willing to work with him, make sure he gets the care he needs. This says a lot about the type of person you are, even with your own struggles. You're very good people. I might have to try a vertical, but it's just a little like I don't know. I feel like traditional painting in vertical because I've done it on TikTok just isn't. I don't know, something about it I didn't really care for. It could have also just been like the TikToks itself. Like most of them were fine, but I did get a couple where like I don't know what the algorithm threw me, but like just bombarded by weirdos. Yeah, that's like the main thing, especially with the way I paint. Like this, it's gonna be going like up there. I mean, I could always try it again, maybe on a different day. Just try it out for fun. Okay, curve pedal. You enjoy your life too. I will definitely consider it. I've known Curve Pedal for a little while. Met him on Instagram. Likes to make Pokemon art. He's a pretty good guy. If you like Pokemon art, I would definitely go check him out. He does some really fun takes with his Pokemon. I totally feel that. Oh my goodness. Some of the some of the people I have been in relationships with make me question like whether or not I was mentally ready to take care of myself. Rats that shave? I don't think that's an expression I have ever heard before. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's looking pretty full. And it's starting to get into this like the same mid tone right there. I do believe the dogs are going to start barking soon, just an FYI, I think. Eric is pulling in. Just to give everybody a heads up if it, like the dogs start going crazy. I think he's trying to avoid opening up the garage. He might be coming in the front door. He knows I'm live streaming, so he's trying to be courteous. If that is him. Oh, okay. I might have to use that. It's a fun way of saying that. Yeah, I'm definitely like you, where I feel very fortunate. I found Eric. I have been with some real pieces of work. That's for sure. He's definitely like taking the time to show me like what true unconditional love is. I have my own. I think one of my originals was, I definitely used to say it a lot more than I say it now. But holy flying biscuit balls, like that's one I used to say a lot. I have no idea where it came from or where like I start why I started saying that, but yeah, holy flying biscuit balls. If I had a book of sayings, I've said that enough that it would have made my top like sayings in my life. Like I'm not I don't have issues with people who swear. Like swearing doesn't bother me. It never has. But I've been in plenty of situations where like I know to be respectful, like just you don't swear where when you're in those kinds of situations, and so like I've been in enough of them that like I've gotten so used to like having my own little like quirky sayings instead of swearing that I'll be in situations where like it's okay to swear, and then I get like the weirdest looks saying some of saying some of my sayings instead of swearing, and they're like, I've gotten told so many times, you know you can swear, right? I'm like, yes, I know I can swear, but I'm choosing not to. I'm like, are you super religious? No, I'm not super religious. It's just habits. Horse hockey? Is it like horse pucky? because I've heard horse pucky before. Maybe we're saying it wrong. Would not be the first time. Like, growing up, I learned it was nip it in the butt, but it's not nip it in the butt. It's nip it in the bud, and it is a reference of flowers. I learned that one in adulthood, and I felt very silly learning I was saying it wrong the entire time. What's another one? Um, I have a few of them, and it's funny because like every once in a while, like when I'm with friends or something, and like I'll come across somebody I know, like out of a situation where I don't normally like when I'm at work and stuff like that, I know not to swear. So like coworkers and stuff will never hear me swear, but like then I'll be out with friends and they'll hear me swear and they're like, "David swore." And I'm like, yeah, I can swear, yes. They're just like I also know audiences and sometimes it's appropriate and other times it's not. And they're like, "Oh, I never hear you swear." I'm like, "Yeah, because we're at work." I'm like, "But you could swear at work." Yes, I understand. Like they didn't write you up for swearing at work, but it is taken into consideration for like promotions and things like that. So yeah, I choose not to swear. I started using like more old fashioned words instead of that. Like I say Jehoshaphat a lot. That's a very old term. So like Jehoshaphat, Gee Willikers. I say Gee Willikers a lot. That's another one I say all the time. Gee Willikers. Yeah, it's not that we don't swear. It's just like we understand like there's a time and a place. If I have alcohol in me and I'm at a bar, yes, I can like yeah, I've got a toilet mouth. I don't do that very often now though, so like I think the last time I went to a bar was like before COVID was the last time I've been to a bar. I just don't go to bars anymore. But yeah, it's been before COVID. Wow. Time definitely flies. I did not realize it's been that long. Yeah, the last time I went to a bar was when I had left working at the fulfillment center and a lot of my old employees decided they were going to be buying me drinks and alcohol and beer and everything, and I luckily I had Eric with me because he did not drink so I could, and I do not really remember that night. Kind of glad I don't do that anymore. Just thinking about that's kind of making me feel sick. I do that too in different ways. Mine is like I'll meet people for the first time, right? And for some reason, I like my brain's like it's appropriate like opening conversation with somebody to talk about all of the times you've been to a hospital and you've injured yourself. And then like people just give me like weird looks as I tell them like the strangest ways I've injured myself. And then I'm sitting there like, I probably like should have just kept that to myself. And if you're wondering, one of my strangest injuries that I would like tell everybody. Uh, I fractured my jaw with a mechanical pencil. I was walking into a friend's house and I had my sketchbook. I was literally like holding my sketchbook and my pencil in my hand, like, let's put this down really quick. So, like, I had the sketchbook and the pencil in my hands like this, and I fell. And when I fell, my hands played out to catch myself, and the pencil got stuck between my fingers like this in the book, and my head, like, yeah, right here on the left side, it came down on the mechanical pencil, and it got like up into the jaw, and it fractured a piece off of my jaw, jammed the pencil like right up into my face. I was stunned. Like afterwards, it legitimately like I was seeing stars, and I was like very out of it for a moment. And I walked over to my friend's house, and I didn't even knock. Like she didn't even know I was there. I literally just walked in, and she's like, "Oh, you're supposed to knock first," but I was just kind of dazed, and the only thing in my mind was like I needed to go to the bathroom. She saw the pencil sticking out of my face, and it kind of like freaked her out. And I went into the bathroom. I started washing my hands, and I was still just kind of like out of it. And then I looked up in the mirror, and I saw the pencil there, and I just like jabbed like I freaked out when I saw the pencil sticking out of my face. I just grabbed it and yanked it out, which I shouldn't have done because then it really started bleeding and had to go to the hospital. And I ended up getting 2 stitches in my jaw, and they couldn't actually fix the fracture I made because of the way that it had fractured. Yeah. And those are like, that's where my brain goes. Like, when you meet somebody for the first time, this is a story about you you can share. And really, like, most of the time, it just leaves people like kind of stunned looking at me like, wow, that's very strange. I'm glad it didn't like turn into anything serious though, because like that could have caused quite an infection, especially like right there in your face. Just date a freak accident. I felt really bad for my friend because that freaked her out. Me just walking in and then her just seeing the pencil hanging out of my face. And then I felt really bad because her husband cleaned up my mess in the bathroom because like I yanked the pencil out and it started bleeding everywhere before going to the hospital. I tried my best to make it up to her. I ended up cleaning her house a couple of times, like top to bottom, like just free deep clean, because I felt bad that I got injured and bled all over the place. I shouldn't laugh. You painted a very vivid picture. Yeah. Our mouths work faster than our brains sometimes. At least now, like I try not to say anything about anybody else now that I'm older. I keep it all about myself. Oh, there, that is Eric. The garage door is opening, so just be prepared. We're probably gonna get the dogs going crazy. I'm gonna have to let them into the garage to go say their highs. If I'm lucky, they won't go completely bonkers. I hope he did well. I really am curious about how his test went. So I think they're out a little too like they're tired from their walk, which is good. Like I was kind of hoping it would tire them out because they could get kind of loud. Their barks can be a little obnoxious.
Alright.
Oh, no barking.
I will. I love you.
We're trying to work with them, so I'm glad to see this because we're looking to move within the next like 6 months or so, and I got to be kind of like aware of their barking. Not everybody likes dog barks, so we're trying to work. Baxter's like the instigator. He'll start barking, and it sends Onyx barking, just so we don't cause any problems with like neighbors or anything like that. Yeah, I have that too. Especially when I see somebody like like any kind of bully situation where somebody in a position of power is definitely like asserting some kind of like unjustified power over another person, getting mean, bullying, taking advantage of. I like yeah, it's really really hard for me to like hold my tongue in those situations. I gotta kind of be mindful of it though, because I'm a big guy. Like, I'm over 230 pounds. I'm not sure how many stones that is, but uh, I'm over 230 pounds and I'm 6'2". Well, I'm a pretty big guy. Shh. And when I get upset and mad and like gonna give somebody a piece of my mind, I could be scary, and I try to like I need to be mindful of that because I don't always realize like I could be a scary person. Especially for someone who hasn't seen me mad, because I do try to keep my anger in check as best as possible. Somebody who hasn't seen me mad before and then like see me mad, I've been told many times that I'm pretty scary when I'm mad. And I don't like to be perceived as being scary, so that's like something I try to watch for. I think looking at the time, I'm gonna try to finish up this section of the tree, but about 15 minutes or so. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the live. It's about 3 hours, right? I don't know how long I've been recording for. Where is it? Yeah, that'll be about 3 hours. And that seems to be like a good time to where like afterwards I can like take a break, get some stuff done that I need to get done, and then still be sufficient with this. It also doesn't help that my husband's now home and pulling my attention away. Shannara, that's that's pretty funny. Yeah, you definitely understand your mouth getting you into trouble. I could just probably like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But inside, I would have been laughing, embarrassed, but like understanding like the humor in that. You don't seem to get it too much in our last place. We lived in the suburbs, and I whenever I would go to the grocery store, like we would get the people who would like, oh hi, and you could tell they'd be friends, and then they would be blocking the aisle with their shopping carts and talking to each other and ignoring everybody else who's trying to get by them to get their grocery shopping done, and they're just taking up the whole aisle and trying to say excuse me or to get past them, and they're just like ignoring it and off in their own little world. Don't seem to get that too much in this area, but like the last area I lived in, yeah, there was a lot of that. I did. I was able to manage to bite my tongue in those situations, but man, I always like had choice words in my head that I would like to say. I think the most I would ever say is like, "Guess I'm gonna have to go around." Like, just make them know like they're blocking the entire aisle, so people can't even do their grocery shopping. Nothing. Nothing like that though. Boy, he is getting pushy. It's starting to brighten it up. Moving into like the mid tones. I mean, like, I'm really on your side, Rory. Like, after dealing with that, like, it's just kind of like, people are trying to do their grocery shopping, and plus there's like areas like the produce area, which is like bigger and open. Like, there are areas of the store that are bigger, but especially like during the COVID era, yeah, like take it outside. People are just trying to get their shopping done.
Or narrow aisles.
Oh, you're feeding him early. That's why he's going crazy.
He was going nuts anyways.
Boys are getting their dinner an hour early tonight. They're getting spoiled.
That's the least I can do for failing.
You failed?
No.
Oh.
Oh well.
What was your score?
457 out of 500. They changed when I scored the highest last time, I scored the lowest this time. They reversed them.
Mm.
It's okay, I have insurance on it. So I can take the test again with at no cost. And it'll be, I can't do it until April.
So April's going to be your next opportunity to take it?
The soonest, yes. October would be the latest. So I'm gonna talk to Loretta tomorrow and then go from there.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit more about it when I finish my life.
No worries. I'm gonna go
So.
play games.
Okay.
I'm tired of studying. My brain is fried.
Well, everybody on my chat was sending you good vibes.
I appreciate that chat.
Just gotta get a little bit more studying done for next time.
It's a conspiracy theory. It's a money making thing. It is. When you charge you $600 an exam.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard that, but I guess the exam didn't go as well as we would have hoped. He at least gets to take it one more time without needing to pay the $600 for the course again.
And that's just for the exam, not the materials.
Thank you. I'm happy with the way that it's coming along. Got a little bit of catching up to do. Yeah, I remember that. The lines, only so many people allowed to go into the store at a time. I don't think we were like, most of the US wasn't that strict, but we did have like some restrictions, and they were like limiting people in places. And the big one was like whenever we would go to the doctor's office, there would always be somebody who would just want to sit there and chat with the receptionist. But only so many people were allowed to be in the doctor's office at a time. You had to sit in your car and wait for somebody to leave. Like, yeah, you'd get the people just sitting there chatting with the receptionist. Yeah, 500 questions, and you got a 450 something out of 500 questions. So it's a lot. It's a big exam. Monsieur Eric, they need something.
Huh? What? You need something?
they need
Attention.
their toothbrush.
Attention, calories.
Calories. That's what they need. They need their calories.
You guys eat more than a big dog does, but you guys are less than 20 pounds.
You need a 480 to pass?
500 minimum.
Oh, 500 minimum. So you had to get a perfect score?
No, that's the minimum. It's a range of 700 the max.
Oh, 700 is the max. The lowest you could get is 500. Oh, you're close.
I'm annoyed. Because it was the same, like, the percentage I got the highest on last time, because I focused so much on the other ones that I didn't. What's that word I'm looking at?
You neglected
No,
that subject.
I'm trying to say it without saying it a profanity.
Wow.
It was a double-edged sword.
Mm. You get it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, his cert is for his profession. He's in HR, human resources. So he's trying to continue his education so he could, do better. But they certifications for HR are just expensive. That's like the big why we were really hoping it would be done with. But he said that he had insurance on this exam, so it gives him a chance to take it one more time without needing to pay like the $700 for the entire course. I like thinking going back to COVID times, like oh my goodness, the one that felt the most surreal were the vaccines, and like you wouldn't get out of your car, so the hospitals in my area set up drive-through vaccinations, and you would literally like line up and queue in a car, and there would just be hundreds of people in the car line waiting to go up to get our vaccine. And because we had to wait for to make sure you had an okay reaction to the vaccine, you would be queued to go sit in another parking lot. So like you were sitting in one parking lot waiting for your time to go get your COVID vaccine. Then once you got your COVID vaccine, you had to go to another parking lot, and you had to sit there for like 20 minutes to 30 minutes depending on like which vaccine you got before you could just like go on your way. That was probably one of the more surreal things that I would have to do during the COVID times. Yes and no. Um, they're easier because I don't have to worry about editing, and the video just goes up. But like I don't get an entire artwork done with a live stream, and I also have to like be aware that there's external things going on that I can't help where I can in like a pre-recorded. So like when I'm recording, Eric and I could have just like sat there and talked and had our own little conversation while painting, and I just edited that out of the video, and it's just like covered with my voiceover. That part's easier because then I don't have to worry about like Let's see, what are some of the things? The dog's barking. If I fart, I don't have to worry about that being in the video. Like that kind of stuff. Like it's real easier recording it that way. But with the live streams, like they're easier because I don't have to worry about editing. But like it's not like a full video, and it's just a little bit more relaxed while also needing to be aware of like are the dogs taken care of? I'm not leaving like the screen empty for too long. Like when the dogs needed more water put into their dish, I had to leave. Like those kinds of moments, I need to make sure I'm available for a certain amount of time to be able to do the live stream. Since I live out west in the United States, we have a rodeo center, rodeo grounds, and that was where our first vaccine was held at because the rodeo grounds is huge. We were able to like queue up, and they would have like I think it was 8 lines of cars. They had people directing you to go stand in the like these 8 lanes, and we were all snaking together to get to the area where we would get checked in, and they would check our ID, verify that we could get the vaccine. Because when I first got it, it was only for like certain people because I was a care provider. I was on that list and had to get it like in the early beginning. So like they had to verify that you were available to get it, and then like then you would have to go sit into like a separate parking lot, which was like the we would enter through the regular entrance, and it would be like the general parking for the rodeo grounds. But then afterwards, we would wait would be like the unloading docks for all of the horses and the trailers and stuff. Um, I kind of prefer like the regular videos, just like with how they sit. I feel like it's a much more organized way of cataloging my artwork and video on YouTube. But at the same time, like editing videos is a lot of work. It is just there's no getting around it. It is a lot of work. That last video I've been trying to work on that kept crashing on me and just having some technical issues where I would lose all of my editing work. I was spending like 4 or 5 days editing everything together because I was using transitions. I was using older videos to kind of like put them into the video like as a whole. So I was splicing it up, changing up the audio, adding music and a little bit of effects and my memes and stuff. Yeah, it takes you like 4 or 5 days. If I were to like sit down and continuously work on it, it would probably take me about 10 hours or so. But I try to work on it when I can during the week. And so losing it 3 times was just like I like that kind of like pushed me towards the edge of like I do kind of enjoy it lives because I don't have to worry about that. But I also like really enjoy making the videos. I like having that little like catalog. And it like old friends and family that I can't see all the time, they get to watch the videos, and like that kind of brings me joy too because it kind of helps me feel like I'm being a little closer to like some family members and stuff that I can't see on a regular basis. Yes, that is also true. Like, yeah, the recorded videos and editing, because like this live is going to be 3 hours long, and so people will see that and like, oh, I don't have time for a 3 hour video, and like this is way slowed down. You can see like I'm not a fast painter, and so like people get bored of it like a lot faster than the regular videos because I speed them up so like I try to fit it within like 20 to 35 minutes is my range. I try not to go over that, which is a little bit more like manageable because then it's just like a TV episode. Like someone's like, "Oh, I got 30 minutes I could watch a video for." I'm going to finish this branch right here, and then I am going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. But I will be having more lives. I just got to figure out what, like, make sure I'm not doing anything and don't schedule a live for, like, when I have other plans. That's like my biggest setback is I'm really bad at, like, staying aware of other plans. So I just got to make sure I'm not scheduling this when I'm doing something else. I'm really glad to hear that. I try to pay attention to everybody as much as possible and just make it an enjoyable live stream. For those that just want somebody to mirror while they create, someone to chat with. I just want to try to keep them fun. I eventually would like to, add like little silly things like emotes and things like that in the future, but I'm going to take my time with it. I'm just going to enjoy like a really nice, relaxing, chill live stream. That's my goal with it. And I'm going to be using my lives mainly to work on paintings that I haven't been working on. So, my works in progress pile, I have about 38 paintings that I have not worked on, and they're in various stages of completeness. Some I don't have any video for. So like it would be a little hard to actually make a video for YouTube, and that was one of the reasons that was they were just kind of like staying there. It's because I was like, well, I don't have like the first half of this painting recorded, so like I can't even use it for YouTube. I need to work on something else that I could use for YouTube. Whereas with the lives, I feel like I could focus on like my works in progress, and it can be just like this is the painting for my lives and I'll get it done and then I have a next one, whereas I have a whole completely second set of artwork I'm working on that I'm recording the entire process for. Like I'll show my sketchbook if for those who have seen what I've been working on. I'm really loving where my sketchbook is going. I got the working on painting the cover first. It's taken me some time, but like it's a sketchbook and I want it to be special for me. So I'm putting in a lot of effort and detail work into it. If you saw my short from yesterday, uh, the painting I'm working on is the cover to my sketchbook. Okay, this is gonna be in the front. Yes, the desert painting I'm working on, that's the cover for my sketchbook. It's actually going to be a very special sketchbook. But I'm going to save that for the actual video itself. I gotta try to find some way of keeping what my plan is for it all in one central location so I can go back and reference it. Because I'm definitely gonna be relying on people's comments. So I'm not gonna say what it is anywhere else except for on that video, so all the comments can stay there. So it's easy for me to find them when I need to use them. But I will say, like, That desert scene, I can definitely see how much I am romanticizing the desert in that painting. It's like my home. It's my home environment. It's what I'm used to when it comes to landscapes. So yeah, easy to romanticize, but somebody had pointed out like, "Oh, I want to go out into the desert and see that kind of stuff," and like I could just plan a trip and like we're gonna be going out west like during what was it, July, and I was like, "You do realize like you can't go out into the desert like just out hiking like in the middle of July. You will, you're gonna be heat exhausted. You're gonna be dehydrated. You could run into some like big trouble." Hiking out in the middle of the desert, especially since you've never done it before. All your hiking has been in the forest. They are not the same. Oh, nice. 3 volumes already. I feel like I've only completed one sketchbook. Hi, Jenny. How's it going? I'm actually going to be finishing up here momentarily. I've been live streaming for about 3 hours. But you're just in time for me to actually like show a little sneak preview of what's going on behind the scenes. Just finishing up some of the leaves in here. Yeah. It gets hot and you got to make sure you have plenty of water on you when you go out into the desert here. It is pretty. I will give it that, especially like if you go in, I feel February, March is like the best time to go hiking out in the desert, the Southwest. Onyx, what are you? Oh, we got him like little doggy grass that he eats, and he's over there like chewing on it like a cow after eating dinner. He's choking on it. Nice. I'm actually gonna be getting some work done, basically going to work right after I finish this. Your grass is not going anywhere. Oh my goodness. Look at him. Oh, now he's shy. As soon as I put the camera on him, then he's just like, "Oh no, never mind. I don't want to be camera. I don't want to be on film." I think February and March, it's cool enough. Like, you still need to make sure you have water on you, but it is cool enough. And they're like, that's when we get the most kind of like cloud cover days. No rain or anything like that, but just like not as intense sun. Onyx, come over here. Stop choking on it. Goodness gracious, your grass is not going anywhere. We got Baxter with the water and then Onyx with his doggy grass. Okay, I think that's good for this one. All right, I'm gonna, because later on tonight I'm gonna be going back to working on this and working on finishing my video for this Sunday. Put that off to the side and This is what I had been working on. Ah. So this is the cover to my sketchbook. And I got some barrel cactuses added in there. And then Ocotillo and uh, Choi. Oh my gosh. Choya. The Choya cactus. That's what I was working on in my last short, was this Choya cactus. These are the now they're not all in the same kinds of desert. Like Vegas has different types of desert around it, but these are basically like the plant life I grew up with. The ocotillos, the cholla, barrel cactus, Joshua trees, bristle cones. There's a couple other like plants I'm going to be adding into this. I think some what are they called? Lurkspur, larkspur, something like that. It's a little. I'm gonna have all the names down for the video for this one, but larkspur are like little blue flowers, and they're like the bottom of them is just like little green leaves. They don't look like much, but in the springtime they shoot out their stems, and they're like really brilliant blue flowers blooming on the ends of them. And I think like the reason I'm choosing those ones to go here is because it's like it's kind of looking like a rainbow without being an actual rainbow. Like all of the colors are represented in a very like fun desert way. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. And then like got to fill it up because it's going to be my sketchbook. So yeah, this is going to be an upcoming video. Those are more south of Las Vegas, more towards Phoenix. I did grow up with some saguaro cactus, like on a couple of my trips down into Phoenix, but they're not as prevalent out in Las Vegas. It's all further south, and Phoenix is like a 9-hour drive, 8 to 9 hour drive from Las Vegas. So it's a little bit of a distance there. I think like the Choyas are the closest we had to saguaro cactus in my area, or the barrel cactus. Sometimes the barrel cactus would get pretty freaking big. They'd be like 4 feet tall, but nothing on the saguaros. Yeah, they don't bloom very often. Like out in the wild, depending on the rain, they would bloom like every other year. We would get some occasional years where they would all bloom like year after year, but those would be like really wet years back to back. Otherwise, like blooming for the plant takes so much energy. So like cactus would rarely do it because they would want to like conserve their energy. Like the Joshua trees, I was debating whether I wanted to have them blooming because they're actually a type of yucca. They're not a tree at all. And a yucca is a type of succulent plant, like cactus. So they're kind of related, but they get these giant stalks that come out of the top of them, and it's just like encircling the stalk is just white flowers all the way up. And I love when Joshua trees bloom, but it's very rare when they bloom. Same thing with yuccas. Yuccas would do the same thing. They would get this shoot that would come up, and it would be just swirling white flowers. The ocotillo were mainly the ones that would bloom on a yearly basis. Like they would always just get their blooms out, and I would love seeing those out in the wild because all the bees, all the desert bees would just be flying around them, and they feel so alive. And same thing with the lurkspurs when they would bloom, and other desert flowers. There's all sorts of like different flowers I would love to see when they were blooming. Yes, that actually, LA, the LA area, that part of California, the Mojave Desert is covered in Joshua trees. And yes, you two got inspired for the title Joshua Tree because of the Joshua trees they would see in Southern California. I did know that about you two, but I love seeing them. They just look, they're so weird and unique. This unfortunate thing is about Joshua trees is they're slowly going extinct. And that's because they don't have the animal anymore that was like the biggest contributor to their reproductive cycle. And you probably won't believe this, but we have documented proof of it. The main animal that would help them so much in reproducing was the giant ground sloth from the Ice Age. That's how old these trees are, well, the Joshua trees. But they haven't quite recovered since the giant ground sloth went extinct tens of thousands of years ago. And unfortunately, their area is shrinking for more and more and more just because they don't have any kind of animal that helps them reproduce in the same way. And so they're eventually going to be extinct because they've lost their partner animal. Unless like we step in and maybe like do something. I'm sure like humans would be a reason that they could still continue going, but without any kind of human intervention, they would just be going extinct. I haven't listened to you two in a while. I might need to listen to them. So, yeah. Anyways, there's like my little sneak peek. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, yeah, I need to get some work done and then got to get some more of this done and make sure my video is ready for Sunday. Because I am going to be having a regular video posted for Sunday. 3 weeks was too much. I was thinking maybe 1 week at the most. But after 3 weeks with issues with that video, I just needed to kick something else out. And actually work on some art. I'm glad I could share some of that knowledge with you. Yeah, it's really interesting to see like how animals and plants interact with each other and things that we can see, just like remnants of the last ice age, and Joshua trees are one of them. Just a fun little fact, and maybe hopefully humans can intervene and help them, extend their life. Maybe introduce some way of being able to reproduce much easier than through giant ground sloths that no longer exist. But anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful night. I will see you guys in the next live, the next short, the next regular video. Either way, I hope you all stay safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. Have a wonderful night or day or morning, whatever it is. Bye, you beautiful people.